November is always a big month for games, mostly within the AAA space. That said, there's also plenty indie games coming out to get excited about. Hi everybody, and today on Get Indie Gaming, I have 10 indie games I'd be eager to play this November 2019. So let's crack on, and at number 10, new Super Lucky's Tale finds its way onto the Nintendo Switch November the 8th. If you've heard of or played the original from 2017, then you already know what to expect in this new release. That said, there's plenty more added to the overall package. Here we have a completely new story and fully upgraded player controls. We also have a fully rotatable camera viewpoint and big upgrades to everything from the art, the lighting, the UI and the sound and the music. It's also a clear love letter or tribute to the classic 3D platformers of old, and comes with many hundreds of collectibles and secrets to discover, as well as many clothing items with which you're able to personalize your character. This time there's even more variety in the gameplay with mini-games, puzzles to best, plenty boss battles to get your teeth into, and much more. New Super Lucky's Tale looks to be a solid start to this month's countdown. Next up at number 9 we have Still There. I played a good couple hours of this at a recent demo event and was really impressed with what's a story-driven psychological point-and-click puzzling adventure. It touches on the themes of grief, isolation and some very tasty Italian coffee. You play as Carl Hamber, the only crew member on the Bento space station, where you've only one companion, which is a slightly deranged AI character known as Gorky. You start off undertaking a number of routine-based tasks, such as keeping the station up and running, although soon enough you receive an emergency radio transmission and thereafter everything is changed. While I only had a few hours with Still There, I found the story and the dialogue rich, and while I didn't initially warm to the AI Gorky character, which I suspect is intentional, there's plenty going on here, and some of the puzzles even early doors are right proper head scratchers. Still There is expected onto home PCs via Steam November the 20th. Now at number 8, Fromto hits early access November the 14th. As you can see from the on-screen antics here, it's a physics-based racing game platformer that features childlike animations in what the developers say was inspired by smashing things together from their childhood playboxes. With single and multiplayer modes, the former sees you having to build the track to get from point A to point B using a simple builder system, and also having you use 40 different track elements. While in the multiplayer, which is online or local couch co-op, you all race together with the first person getting over the finish line, naturally enough being the winner. Of course, while you race against each other, you'll also be looking to force the other players to crash or generally slow them down. Fromto is expected to stay in early access for around 4 months, with the full game coming out in the first half of 2020. At number 7, and coming to the Epic Store and all of the consoles, Yaga is an action RPG set in the world of Slavic folklore. You play as Ivan, a somewhat unlucky blacksmith, who's caught in a triangle with his grandma who wants him to settle down to find a wife, a dark and mysterious witch who tries to have power over him, and a powerful Tsar who demands he complete any number of thankless tasks. In Yaga, you build your reputation within the game, which impacts on how the NPCs treat you, help you or otherwise, and also it means how you unlock new abilities, secrets and trading options. There's also the ability to play with the Slavic pagan beliefs and superstitions to afford getting spirits on your side and have them ward off or avoid powerful curses. Like all RPGs, there's a decent looking crafting system with plenty of talismans and artifacts to find to alter your abilities and gameplay. All in, it seems a charming art style, and soundtrack is great together with what seems to be a compelling narrative, multiple endings and all-in fun combat systems. Yaga comes out November the 12th. At number 6, and a game I foolishly missed at the recent EGX show in London, Skybolt Zak initially was imagined as a final year student project. This does something new within a mix of classic arcade platformers and Japanese rhythm games. All of this comes from Ugo Rossini, the lead game designer who is on record saying he loves both genres and wanted to design a game with the satisfying feeling and particular flow of rhythm games, but mixed within another genre. In Skybolt Zak, your reflexes will be tested where you pull off attacks and combos by pressing the colour button as indicated on the screen. I can't say I've seen anything quite like it before. This one launches on PC via Steam on November 7th and is expected to come to consoles at some point soon. At the halfway point, at number 5, we have Lost Ember. Here we have an adventure game where humans are no longer around and the world has been taken back by nature and the animals. While your main character is a majestic looking wolf, you are able to meet with other creatures and inhabit them, thereby using their abilities to find and go places a wolf simply can't get to. This means you can fly into the forest's canopy as a bird, scale sheer cliffs as a mountain goat, and dig yourself to places new while becoming a mole. Lost Ember looks adorable and comes with an equally beautiful soundtrack. There's no doubt I'll be playing Lost Ember when it launches on Steam, the PlayStation 4, and Xbox on November the 22nd. Switch fans, don't worry, there's a port expected to come out at some point a little bit later. At number 4, Sparklite has the look of an old Zelda game with its on-point pixel art and overall look and feel. Now I think this does look fantastic and I'm really drawn into how it seems to offer a great mix of an open world without having any hints, tips, directions or quest markers. Now quests are given by NPCs, although it's up to you to find them, and once offered, you'll need to figure out how to go about completing their tasks. There's very little hand-holding here. With a fun-looking weapon and upgrade system, together with a procedurally generated world that changes with each death and run-through, Sparklite has the trappings of something rather fun and launches November 14th on Steam and all of the consoles. At number 3, Spirit of the North is already out, having launched November 1st, and sees you play as a fine-looking red fox within a visual-only experience without any spoken dialogue, in what's really a platform-based adventure about companionship. Inspired by the Icelandic mountains and other features of this remote North Atlantic island, it's one where I found myself stopping playing to simply sit back and take it all in. It's also really well aided by a decent camera system, which means you can take some really stunning screenshots. As for the graphics, well, the fox is finely animated for the most part, as is the scenery, which has been pulled together with equal care. There are occasions where things don't work so well, particularly though in some of the platforming jump sections. There are times where you need to be super precise, and if you mess things up while you can't die, failing a jump section sees you having to retrace your route to have another go, which can take some time and again feels somewhat laboursome every now and again. What Spirit of the North does though very well is within its narrative and use of cutscenes, which really deliver a fine punch, and in doing so, as I've already mentioned, without any in-game vocal work, this in itself is a fine achievement. At the moment, Spirit of the North is a PlayStation 4 exclusive, with it potentially coming to home PCs and other consoles sometime down the line. At number 2, and this month's runner-up, we have the Touryst, a game announced for the Nintendo Switch at Gamescom earlier in the year. I had perhaps 10 or so minutes hands-on with this at the show and was really impressed by it. For some reason though, I didn't include it in any of the content I produced from the show, which in retrospect was a real shame. The Touryst offers and plays within an action-adventure game with puzzle elements. It sees you take on the game as a character on holiday, having just arrived at the magnificent Monument Islands. The emphasis here is on all-round easy fun within the ever so pretty and cute blocky art stylings. As for what you can do, well, you can pretty much do most things you would do on a normal holiday. Although that being said, you also find yourself up against many traps, boss battles and dungeon puzzles, so not really like any of the holidays I've kind of been on in recent years. This looks super fun and wonderfully casual, and is the type of game I'll play no doubt while out and about, let's say on the morning commute. The Touryst launches on the Switch November the 14th.
Oh, Bumble didn't see you there. Bumble here to tell you about Bumble game. It called Legend of Bumble!
And so we're down to the number 1. This one comes from Edmund Macmillan, who many of you will know is one of the creators of Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac. The Legend of Bumbo, initially announced all the way back in 2016, comes to Steam first this November 12th. As the name suggests, this game features the Bumbo character from The Binding of Isaac, and once again we're doing battle with all sorts of nasties and traps within randomly generated dungeons. However, unlike the 2 previous games in this series, The Legend of Bumbo uses a turn-based combat system within what's called a match for style puzzle mechanic. During the battles, Bumbo roots into his bag of stuff and throws down different glyphs while stacking them up to attack, defend and gain mana to use in the casting of spells. I'm really taken with the overall aesthetic that's been used here. I particularly love how the paper and card-like creations together with the muted browns and yellows all kind of just merges so well together. The audio also seems fine enough, and if this is any bit as good as doing what the 2 previous games did, this could be another smash hit for Macmillan. And so with that, which of these games are you most looking forward to playing? Let me know down in the comments. If you've liked this video, please click the like button, and if you haven't done so already, why not subscribe and click that notification bell. As always, many thanks for watching. I'll see you all again here soon for more indie game videos.